You'll recall, if you get a flashback back to about a year ago in Washington, we were given a presentation on this trail classification system of the Forest Service. And as a result of that, the board voted that Public Lands and the Education Committee were to put together a training package that the directors, quotation marks, the directors would then take home and present it to their public lands organization and encourage them to take this trail classification program on. And we would hope also that the directors would kind of monitor that and see to it that that's done. Now we'll get into later, Barry's going to...
Who did you say was taking that lead on that?
What's that?
Who did you say was taking the lead on that?
The directors are going to take this program home.
I want to make sure everybody heard that.
Okay, the directors are going to take, you are going to take this home. And the way you take it home is, this is all from our genius from Bob here. What you're going to see this morning is all on the web. It's got 4 PowerPoints on the web, all supported by papers that Dennis prepared. And really, what we're doing this morning is we're not making you an expert, or we're not going to be able to take the time to teach you exactly what's got to be done. What it's going to require is a little bit of work on your part, to where you're going to take Dennis's papers, you're going to take what you already know, and you take the PowerPoints, and you're going to then initiate that system at home, at your local state or affiliate. They're all on the web, and this way we save trees, and plus it's ready, available to everyone that needs it. So what happened last year was the board, directed that the director is going to take this home and institute this program at home. Now, where we are with this is really, it's the fact, and then Barry's going to get into it some more later, but you know, we did a lot of talking yesterday about our objectives and our mission. If we fail in this, if we fail to properly monitor the Forest Service activities and help them get the classification right, then that's going to affect our mission of keeping public lands open. That's our job, one of them. It's going to really impact the education, because if we don't have any trails, we don't need to educate anyone. And so it's very important that you're going to take this home and go with it. And then there's certain things that the Public Lands Committee has got in plans to make sure this occurs. So, here we go. We want this program and is to assist the Forest Service in properly establishing the correct management objectives for our trails in the National Forest. Let's see if this works. Just push the button on the side.
In the center button, Jerry, you see there's a little arrow on either side.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Hey.
You can applaud. Okay, it's going to be in 4 parts. You're going to see 4 PowerPoints. We're going to go through the first 3 PowerPoints. Then Barry's going to have some comments, and then Ann is going to lead a discussion group and talk about a whole bunch of what ifs. And there's some very important what ifs involved in this. So,
Jared?
Yes.
Do you have any handouts?
No, I don't, and I purposely didn't, because Bob went to a lot of trouble to put it on. Each of us that were at the meeting last time had the book, but I didn't bring the book, and I bet you nobody else did. But the book as well is on the web, the book that we were given last year.
This book here.
That guy. In fact, you're going to see it here as well. And I don't know those guys. There we go. Part 1. Okay, why do we have to be concerned about this? Now, those of you as old as me, of course, I wasn't around in 1935, but way back then, the Forest Service Handbook classified trail as primary, secondary, and wet.
Can everybody see that?
No, not now.
Not now.
What'd we do? Can you see it?
Yeah.
What did I do that you couldn't?
Well, we're messing with the lights.
Okay, in those days, in 1935, the trails were constructed and designed and maintained to provide the safe, unobstructed passage of loaded animals and foot travelers at a walking gait single file. And they were designed to kind of withstand the weather and other conditions that might come along. So in '91, they changed the trail classifications from primary to mainland, and took primary mainland, which was easy, secondary, more difficult, and way most difficult. And all of these would accommodate pack and saddle stock. And they tell me, I think Dennis told me, that the reason that's so is that the people who built the trails rode mules and horses and had packs, so they had to build them big enough for pack stopping. And the mainland and secondary, then after that, would accommodate both pack and saddle stock and the way just stock. So along comes now a problem. But they then classified them again from primary, secondary, way to these that you see, the 5 classes that are in the booklet and that they're working with right now. And you be sure that you chime in if I miss something, okay? And Dennis as well. I'm going to probably need some help with this. So then, in 2005, back when the Horsemen of America, they filed our lawsuit, and you'll recall the results of that. And the reason is that they changed the trail classifications without public notice, the NEPA process. So out of that came the standard. Now you're going to see this standard over and over again, and I would hope that as you work with the people that you have to work with to get this done, this becomes your main statement. And this is the court standard that came out of the lawsuit that BCHA spent a lot of time, a lot of money, and we won it. But it goes that the managed and designed use of a trail are established by individual forest staffs with the public's active assistance, and any changes require public involvement, process, and land management planning determinations, including the NEPA appropriately. So if they change any of the trail classifications, and I would assume it's also the management objectives, design objectives, all of that has to be changed with public involvement. We, us. So in 2009, the Forest Service data, trail managed for pack and saddle stock was 40%. 40% of the trails were managed in 2009 for pack and saddle stock. And designed, 41% were designed for pack and saddle stock. What that leaves is that 59% of the trail system is not designed for and may not in the future accommodate pack and saddle stock use. Now here's where we have an opportunity to get involved in this. It's Forest Service says in documents that Dennis has so far that it's primary data and may be changed as the quality information improves. Quality information improves, you're going to be the one that's going to improve the quality of their information. If the trail is improperly classified, then you're the one, and your local people, whoever is going to be the monitor of this thing and run that show, is going to help them improve their information. And so we have this opportunity now, and it's consistent with that rule and other information that you're going to gather to help them improve that information.
That's our bungee packer from California.
There we go.
Bungee and air and parachute cords and
Good.
yeah, good little pony though. And he came into one of our educational workshops. I don't think we made very much progress, so. But I must say that nothing ever slipped on his load.
Okay, now, you know what? Yes, sir.
A little bit back, it said that it may not be changed for pack and saddle stock, but here it says that we can change their view on the way a trail is. That means that it could be changed if we convince them. Is that
No,
right?
what it is whatever the last, Dennis, what's that word I want to use? The last legal?
Legally designated trail plan, or legally designated.
It's the last plan. If they change from the last plan
I guess,
that's been approved and it had public involvement, then if they change it, then without public involvement, then that's where we have the opportunity to convince them that
There's over 50% that cannot be changed, period, from what that says. Is that right?
whatever the last plan, whatever the last legally accepted plan is, like, then that's the mark, that's the benchmark. Anything that changes after that has to be changed with public involvement. And if, when we get into it, we find they didn't, then that's where we have the opportunity.
Can I help you with that clarification?
Yes.
Prior to implementation of this system in 1999, almost all, I used to say almost all of the trail system was managed by standards that would accommodate either saddle stock or pack and saddle stock. What our concern is we want to ensure that implementation of this new system doesn't change that capability to use it with pack and saddle stock. If it has changed from what was there prior to 1999, we need to hold the agency accountable for showing us an appropriate planning process that has gone through public involvement. Does that clarify?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, and Ann is going to get into that a little bit more when we get into PowerPoint 2 in a second. But you know what? Now here it is. It's our choice. It's your choice. It's going to be your public, local, back home public lands people that are going to have a choice of whether or not they're going to make this a priority. And I would hope that it becomes the #1 priority for your organization back home. And really, in order for us to accomplish our mission, it's our responsibility. You know, talking about this, you know, if for instance, you go home and nothing happens, and your public lands people say, well, it's our state, it's our forest, and if we don't do anything and protect our trails, then so what? It's our problem, it's our trails, but it isn't. I might want to go ride on your trail, so you have a responsibility for me and others. The people in the future that Dave's going to get involved in packing might want to ride on those trails, and if we don't do it, the youngsters that are going to be us someday, they're not going to have. So your responsibility is not just to you and for you to ride your trails in your forest in your state. Responsibility to the stock world, the packing world, and these kids who are going to be the packers of the future. So if we choose not, then we may find that our favorite trails are no longer managed for our use. Steve, could you fix this so that Ann's could go up now, PowerPoint 2?
This is the end of PowerPoint.
This is end, I think. This is the end of PowerPoint 1. Just 1 second and we'll, due to technical difficulties that only Steve can handle and Couple other computer whizzes here. There you go, Ann.
Is this on?
It's on. And this is the
So
clicker.
during this
And
And
What do I just press
you
this
push
button
right there.
on the
Is
To
side?
get
there
it
a way
right
that you
there
can
on the
make this
side.
full
Get it to
screen
go
on the
there.
website?
yeah,
Where is that? What is it?
it's a little box. It's got arrows going to each corner. Down in the right-hand
While
corner.
they're trying to get the second presentation up, I want you to know that we really did win something when Backcountry Horsemen of America got the court ruling. I have it up here on the board. Go look at it in
That's it.
in your free time, because we won some
There you go,
some
Ann.
great things from them. The other real advance that came forward was when they had the Forest Service ride with Backcountry Horsemen of America, and they took them into the backcountry to look at some of these trails and what that really meant if you got the trail down to a certain standard or that would not accommodate stock. And that's on the, it says BCHA Forest Service ride, that any trail,
It's on.
any trail with a legally designated, managed, and designed use for stock will be classified at a minimum as a Class 2 pack and saddle stock trail with minimum design parameters to accommodate that pack and saddle stock use. Now, in the old days, a class 1 would minimally accommodate stock. And I was on the forest that was a test forest to implement this system and see how it worked, and boy did they, that's when we first picked up, and I first brought it to the attention of Dennis and others that they had submitted a trail inventory that reclassified a lot of trails because class 1 trails would no longer accommodate stock, but they didn't say that. So we actually, in my unit, had to go to court. That was 20 years ago, folks, so be patient. We won an out-of-court settlement about 16 years later, but the Forest Service did not do what they said they would do, which was to do a trail plan, go through a legal process before they made those kind of changes. So we're back in court right now to rectify that situation.